peace seems nearly impossible. Unity starts with me. Unity starts with me. And when I'm not unified with my Father, when I'm not unified with my God, then this forgiving peace, it doesn't happen. Because when we don't forgive, what we're saying in that moment is that unity starts somewhere else, with someone else. And when we don't operate out of a place of love, then we're operating out of a place of disunity, saying or showing or modeling that disunity starts with me. And I love the ending part of this verse when it says, remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. I think it's a bold statement, because what it's saying is, remember, just in case you forgot, that I forgave you when you didn't deserve it, when you shouldn't have gotten my forgiveness. I gave it to you. So forgive your enemies, forgive your neighbors, forgive yourself. Forgive the people in your life. Just this reminder that as Jesus was praying this prayer in John chapter 17, we see this humility, we see this posture of hope that he has. And it's just this beautiful reminder, even the people that least deserve our love, even the people that least deserve unity starting with me, it says, remember, you didn't deserve unity. You didn't deserve love. You didn't deserve my forgiveness, but yet I still did it for you. Because I love you, because I want you to see unity. And Jesus prays for unity in John chapter 17, knowing that the main ingredient is love. And we witness him praying for unity, praying that this love would be shared. And then we see him going and living out the ultimate act of love as he endured the cross, resulting in something that brings unity. Something that can bring unity, this new life in Christ. 2 more verses I want to read this morning. Verse 14 and 15, it says, above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us together in perfect harmony. And let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts. For as members of one body, you're called to live in peace and always be thankful. The NIV, that was the NLT. The NIV says, and over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them together in perfect unity. I could have just read this passage earlier on in the message and we could have just prayed and ended things. But put on love. Clothe yourselves in love. Over all these virtues, put on love. Love is unity's main ingredient. Are you putting on love like you put on your clothes? Like you put on your pants and your sweatshirt, your coat today, your gloves? I told first service, did I tell you guys this? That I hope that there's nobody in the parking lot today? But put on love. Clothe yourselves in love. And it's really practical as this reminder that we need to do this often. I mean, at least once a day, that we put on love. Clothe yourselves in love. And it'll bind together. It'll bind us together. There will be unity when we start to do it. Unity starts with me. And unity's main ingredient is love. So we're talking about love and maybe when we're supposed to love and who we're supposed to love. Love him, love yourself, love your neighbors, love your enemy. But practically speaking, I've encouraged you guys to think about what this means, what this series means in your context, in your world. Because I don't know your relationships. I don't know all of your workplaces and what the unity's like. But get together with someone that you haven't forgiven and share your heart. Make that phone call. Make that first move towards unity. Be present in your relationships with the people around you that maybe you just need to spend a little bit more time choosing unity, choosing love. Maybe you need to put your phone down a little bit. Maybe you need to come up from the shop a little bit more. Maybe you need to go sledding with the kids. But be present in your relationships. Be patient. Love even when it isn't reciprocated. And I think about, again, that verse where it says, remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. And I think the same is true with patience and love. That we demonstrate those things to the people that least deserve it because we were that person that least deserved it when God demonstrated that love for us. And I think of marriage. As I try to get my ring off. I think of marriage, this wedding ring, as this symbol of unity, the symbol of my commitment to unity, to Sid. And with this commitment, I wish it meant that once we wear this ring or say our vows that there's not going to be any disharmony or there's going to be an abundance of unity because of this or because of our marriage, but that's not the case. It's not the case, and we need to choose unity. We need to understand that unity starts with me, even if I don't agree with Sid. Even in those challenging conversations, in those times when I'm like, you did it. You forgive me. Or, yeah, you forgive me. I'm not going to forgive you until you do the unifying. But unity starts with me. Unity's main ingredient is love. And there's power when we love. When we love him, when we love God, when we love ourselves and understand that there's so much value and weight when we can love ourselves and understand and be confident in who God's made us to be. When we love our neighbors, the people that God's put in our life, our physical neighbors, but then the circles that we run in, and our enemies, these people that, again, we're bitter towards or can't stand or often ignore. And when unity takes place, it'll lead to peace, a peace that points to the main ingredient, which we all know is love. And the beautiful fact is that God is love. And I shared this slide last week, but through the unity, through that love, the world will know Jesus. The world will know that they're loved, and his glory will be recognized. And a binding of us all, this unity will take place that will lead to peace. I remember 6 months ago when Sydney and I were new in the foster care system, and we got a call about a placement, about a little boy who we would soon find out that would be 2 days old when we pick him up. We were nervous, we were excited, we were anxious. We had never fostered any kids. We only had Briggs. So we didn't know what it would be like to have two in our house. We didn't know if we should do it or not. I mean, it's going to be a sacrifice. Is this worth it? What about this? What about that? Do we know what we're doing? Do we know what we're getting ourselves into? But we said yes. And we know that foster care is not for permanency. I mean, it's temporary care until reunification takes place. We know that. We know that. We know that. This is what foster care is. And this was a great picture as I was thinking about unity, because over these 2 months, I fell in love with this boy. A boy that I got to see do so many firsts. A boy that I held for hours upon hours at night as he fell asleep, cried and would fall asleep, just putting him to bed. A boy that I would change many, many dirty diapers. That I would come to love over a short amount of time because of the love that he brought to our family, because of the unity that he brought to our family. Unity starts with me. And it may not be easy. It may be a bit of a sacrifice. There's going to be challenges on both sides of the parties, because as we fostered this kid, I couldn't help but think of Sid and I in our parenting, and I couldn't help but thinking of this little boy's parents and in their family. Couldn't help but thinking of this little boy who's 2 months old living with us. And it wasn't easy. And again, there were challenges, but it's worth it. Because when reunification takes place, when it happens, when there was disunity and now there's unity, it's a beautiful thing. And we see Jesus praying about this in John chapter 17, about the need for unity because of so much disunity, That even if you've had a week that's been insanely ugly or a week that's been beautiful, there's a posture that we can have, one of hope. We got to see this little guy go back to his parents, back to a place where there was disunity. And we're so excited. We can't wait to see what happens because of the unity that took place. Unity starts with me. This newness of life in Christ is for everybody. And I pray that this is what we think about instead of the pizza and the driver's license. That unity's main ingredient is love. And so which area maybe are you struggling with, falling short in a little bit? Is it with loving God, with loving Him? Is it loving yourself? Is there just doubt that you have, or maybe you're just insecure, or maybe there's some past hurt that keeps rearing its head and it just kind of defines your faith. It defines how you live. It defines the unity because you've been hurt so many times in the past that why would you venture forward now? Why would you try to bring unity now? Why would unity start with you now? Or is it you're loving your neighbors because you simply just don't have the time, don't have the means, or loving your enemies? Unity starts